The Mockery Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the UEC Prometheus, her dark eyes fixed on the starfield ahead. The ship cut through the void of space along the Nexus trade route, one of the most important shipping lanes in this sector of the galaxy. Elena had been commanding the Prometheus for 2 years, and she knew every bolt and wire of the vessel. What others didn't know was that this seemingly ordinary frigate carried secrets that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. The Prometheus looked like any other human warship from the outside. It was 380 meters long, with a standard hull design and conventional weapon mounts. To alien observers, it appeared to be just another example of humanity's supposedly primitive technology. Elena preferred it that way. The best weapons were often the ones your enemies never saw coming. Commander Marcus Chun worked quietly at the engineering station, his fingers dancing over holographic displays. Marcus was more than just the ship's chief engineer. He was one of the few people in the galaxy who truly understood the revolutionary technology hidden within the Prometheus's hull. The ship's real purpose wasn't patrol duty or cargo escort. It was a mobile testing platform for humanity's most advanced scientific breakthrough. Lieutenant Sarah Kim monitored the tactical displays from her station. Sarah was young, only 28, but she had graduated top of her class from the Luna Naval Academy. Her specialty was weapons systems, and she knew more about the Prometheus's hidden armament than anyone except Dr. Mitchell himself. The readings on her screen showed peaceful space ahead, but Sarah had learned never to trust appearances. Dr. James Mitchell sat in his small laboratory deep within the ship's hull, surrounded by equipment that would have baffled the greatest minds of a dozen alien species. James was thin and pale, with the look of someone who spent most of his time indoors working on complex problems. He had been part of the team that developed Prometheus's secret weapon, and he was the only person aboard who fully understood how it worked. Elena checked the ship's chronometer. They were 3 days into their patrol mission, following a route that would take them through 5 different star systems. The mission was supposed to be routine, but Elena had learned that nothing in space was ever truly routine. The galaxy was full of surprises, and most of them were unpleasant. A soft chime from the communications console interrupted her thoughts. Lieutenant Kim looked up from her station, her expression suddenly tense. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple contacts on long-range sensors. They're big and they're moving fast." Elena moved the tactical display. The screen showed dozens of red dots approaching from 3 different directions. The formation was clearly military, and it was definitely not human. "How many ships, Lieutenant?" 47 vessels, Captain. Mixed configuration." "I'm reading. Hegemony dreadnoughts, Vorthan battlecruisers, and what look like crystalline collective destroyers." Sarah's voice was calm, but Elena could hear the concern underneath. Marcus looked up from his console. "Captain, that's impossible. Those 3 species have been at war with each other for centuries. They would never work together." Elena studied the tactical display. The approaching fleet was massive, easily 10 times the size of any human battle group. Each alien vessel was larger than the Prometheus, and some of them were the size of small cities. If this was a hostile encounter, they were in serious trouble. "Communications. Try to establish contact," Elena ordered. "Let's find out what they want." The main screen flickered to life, showing the bridge of an alien vessel. The creature that appeared was unlike anything Elena had seen before. It stood, nearly 3 meters tall, with a chitinous exoskeleton that gleamed like polished metal. Its compound eyes reflected the light in rainbow patterns, and its mandibles clicked together as it spoke. "Human vessel, I am Admiral Zixthara of the Hegemony. Fleet, you are trespassing in space that now belongs to the Galactic Alliance. Your species has been judged a threat to civilized society and marked for elimination." Elena stepped forward, keeping her expression neutral. This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the United Earthship Prometheus. We are conducting a peaceful patrol. Mission in neutral space. We have no intention of threatening anyone. The alien admiral's mandibles clicked in what might have been laughter. Peaceful? Your species knows only war and destruction. We have studied your history, human. You fight endless conflicts over resources, territory, and ideology. You are exactly what we expected. Asterisk behind the hegemony admiral, Elena could see other alien figures. A massive reptilian creature with golden scales stood at one console. Wow. A being that looked like living crystal operated another station. The three species that had been enemies for generations were now working together, united by their hatred of humanity. Admiral, Elena said carefully, there's no reason for conflict between our species. We're willing to discuss any concerns you might have. Concerns? The reptilian alien pushed forward, its yellow eyes blazing with contempt. I am General Corvin of the Vorthan Empire. Your species is a plague upon the galaxy. You multiply like vermin and consume everything in your path. You must be stopped before you spread further. The crystalline being's voice was like music, but the words were full of venom. The collective agrees. Humanity represents chaos and destruction. Your technology is primitive, your tactics are crude, and your ships are pathetic. Look at your vessel, human. It is a joke compared to our warships. Elena glanced around her bridge. The Prometheus was indeed small compared to the alien vessels, but size wasn't everything. The ship's true power lay hidden beneath its unremarkable exterior. Our ship may be small, but it served us well. Admiral Zixthara's compound eyes glittered with amusement. Served you well? Human, your ship is 3 centuries behind our technology. Your weapons could not penetrate our shields. Your armor could not stop our guns. You are insects before us. Marcus stepped closer to Elena. Captain, all departments are reporting ready status. Dr. Mitchell has confirmed that the primary systems are online. Elena nodded slightly. The Prometheus might look like an ordinary frigate, but it carried technology that these aliens had never seen. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to think differently, to find solutions that others missed. While the aliens had spent centuries perfecting their existing weapons, human scientists had been working on something completely new. Asterisk Admiral Zixthara. Elena said, we don't want to fight. But we won't be intimidated either. This is neutral space, and we have as much right to be here as you do. The alien admiral's mandibles clicked rapidly. Rights? You speak of rights? You are about to be extinct. Your entire species will be eliminated from the galaxy. We have assembled the largest fleet in galactic history, specifically to deal with the human threat. General Corvin stepped forward. 47 warships, human. Each one capable of destroying a dozen of your vessels. We have enough firepower to reduce your homeworld to dust. Your species has no hope of survival. Elena looked at the tactical display. The alien fleet was indeed massive, but it was also overconfident. They had gathered their ships in a tight formation, probably to maximize their intimidation factor. It was exactly the kind of mistake that human tacticians were trained to exploit. You have 1 hour to abandon this sector, Admiral Zixthara continued. Leave now, and we will allow you to return to your primitive world. Stay, and we will demonstrate why the galaxy fears the Alliance fleet. Asterisk the transmission ended, leaving. The bridge in tense silence. Elena looked around at her crew. They were all staring at her, waiting for orders. These were good people, trained professionals who had volunteered for deep space duty. They deserved better than to die in what looked like an impossible battle. Captain, Sarah said quietly, we could try to run. The Prometheus is fast, and we might be able to reach the jump point before they catch us. Elena shook her head. No, Running would only delay the inevitable. If they're serious about eliminating humanity, they'll just follow us home. We need to make a stand here. Asterisk Marcus activated his console. Captain, the quantum resonance chamber is fully charged. Dr. Mitchell reports that all systems are functioning within normal parameters. We're ready to deploy the weapon. Elena nodded. The quantum resonance cannon was humanity's most closely guarded secret. It had taken 10 years of research and development, combining human physics with technology recovered from ancient alien ruins. The weapon didn't fire projectiles or energy beams. Instead, it created a cascade effect that could destabilize matter at the quantum level. Dr. Mitchell, please report to the bridge, Elena said into her communicator. It's time to show these aliens what human ingenuity can accomplish. James arrived on the bridge a few minutes later, carrying a tablet covered with complex equations. He was nervous, but his eyes were bright with excitement. Captain, the weapon is ready. The targeting. Computer has identified the optimal firing solution. Elena studied the tactical display. The alien fleet was holding position 50 kilometers away, their weapons charging but not yet firing. They were so confident in their superiority that they weren't even bothering to spread out. It was the perfect target. Dr. Mitchell, explain to the crew how this works, Elena ordered. They deserve to know what they're fighting with. James cleared his throat. The quantum resonance cannon doesn't work like conventional weapons. Instead of destroying targets through brute force, it creates a harmonic frequency that disrupts the quantum bonds holding matter together. The effect spreads through any connected systems, including shield generators and communication networks. Sarah looked confused. Connected systems? The alien fleets use quantum entanglement for their communications and shield coordination. James explained. They think it makes them stronger, but it also makes them vulnerable. If we can start a cascade reaction in one ship, it will spread to the entire fleet. Elena felt a cold smile cross her face. The aliens had assembled their greatest fleet to intimidate humanity, but they had also created the perfect target for humanity's greatest weapon. Sometimes the best way to win a war was to let your enemies defeat themselves. All stations, prepare for combat, Elena ordered. We're about to show these aliens that humans don't scare easily. The Prometheus might have looked like a simple frigate, but it was about to deliver the most devastating surprise in galactic history. The devastation the bridge of the U.S. Prometheus hummed with tension as the final countdown began. Captain Elena Vasquez stood at the center of her command deck, watching the alien fleet maintain their arrogant formation. 47 massive warships hung in space like predators circling their prey, their weapons charging with deadly energy. The aliens had no idea they were about to witness the most devastating display of human ingenuity in galactic history. Dr. James Mitchell worked frantically at the quantum resonance controls, his fingers flying over holographic displays covered with complex equations. The weapon's charging sequence was unlike anything else in the galaxy. While conventional weapons built up energy in linear fashion, the quantum resonance cannon created cascading harmonic frequencies that would build to a crescendo of destruction. Quantum field stability at 97%, James reported, sweat beading. On his forehead, harmonic resonance is locked on target. The cascade matrix is ready for activation. Commander Marcus Chon monitored the power systems from his engineering station. The Prometheus was channeling every available watt of energy into the quantum resonance chamber. Life support was running on minimum power, and all non-essential systems had been shut down. The ship was literally putting everything it had into this one shot. Power levels are at maximum safe capacity, Marcus announced. We're running the reactor at 110%. We'll have about 30 seconds of full power before we need to start emergency shutdown procedures. Lieutenant Sarah Kim tracked the alien fleet's movements on her tactical display. The enemy ships were still maintaining their intimidating formation, their massive hulls gleaming with shield energy. They were so confident in their superiority that they hadn't even bothered to spread out into proper battle formation. Enemy fleet is holding position, Sarah reported. All 47 vessels are within optimal targeting range. Their quantum communication networks are fully active, and their shield generators are synchronized. Elena nodded grimly. The aliens' greatest strengths were about to become their greatest weaknesses. Their synchronized shields and quantum communication systems would carry the resonance cascade from ship to ship like a plague of destruction. The main screen crackled to life, again, showing Admiral Zixthara's chitinous face. The hegemony commander's compound eyes glittered with malicious amusement. "Human captain, your hour is almost up. Have you decided to flee like the cowards you are?" "We're not going anywhere," Elena replied calmly. "This is our final answer." "General." Corvin's reptilian head appeared beside the admiral. "Then you have chosen death. Your pathetic little ship will be vaporized in seconds. You cannot even scratch our shields with your primitive weapons." The crystalline being's musical voice added to the chorus of contempt. "The collective finds your defiance amusing. Your species' arrogance will be your downfall. You face the combined might of 3 galactic empires, and you think you can prevail with a single outdated frigate." Elena allowed herself a cold smile. "You know what your problem is? You think you know everything about human technology. You've studied our history, analyzed our ships, and dismissed us as primitives. But you've made one critical mistake." Admiral Zixthara's mandibles clicked with irritation. "What mistake could we possibly have made? We have studied your species for decades. We know your capabilities." "You know our old capabilities," Elena corrected. "You've been watching us, but you haven't been paying attention to what we've been learning. While you've been perfecting your existing weapons, we've been developing something completely new." The alien commanders exchanged glances. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across their faces. General Corvin leaned forward. "What are you talking about, human?" "You're about to find out," Elena said. She turned to Dr. Mitchell. "Doctor, initiate the quantum resonance cannon. Target the flagship." James's hands moved over his controls with practiced precision. Quantum field alignment confirmed. Harmonic frequency locked on target. Cascade matrix is primed and ready. The Prometheus began to change. Deep within the ship's hull, the quantum resonance chamber came alive with energies that defied conventional physics. The weapon didn't generate heat or visible light. Instead, it created frequencies that existed at the quantum level, patterns of energy that could unmate the fundamental forces holding matter together. "Resonance cascade building," James announced. "Field strength at 50% and climbing, 60%, 70%. We're approaching critical threshold." On the screen, Admiral Zixthara's expression shifted from amusement to concern. "What are you doing, human?" "Our sensors are detecting unusual energy signatures from your vessel." Elena didn't respond. She was focused entirely on the tactical display, watching as the quantum resonance cannon reached full power. The weapon's targeting system had locked onto the hegemony flagship, but the cascade effect would spread to every ship in the fleet. 85%, James called out. 90%. Field harmonics are stable. Ready to fire on your command, Captain. Elena looked around her bridge one final time. Her crew was ready, their faces tense but determined. They had trained for this moment, but none of them had ever imagined they would be facing such overwhelming odds. The fate of humanity might well depend on the next few seconds. "Fire," Elena ordered. The quantum resonance cannon discharged with a sound like reality tearing apart. The weapon didn't create a visible beam or projectile. Instead, it sent out a wave of quantum disruption that traveled at the speed of light toward the alien fleet. The effect was subtle at first, just a slight distortion in space-time that was barely detectable. Admiral Zixthara laughed. Is that all? Your weapon produces no visible effect. You have fired nothing but empty space. At us. But Dr. Mitchell was watching his instruments intently. Quantum cascade initiated. Harmonic resonance is spreading through the target's quantum field. Cascade propagation rate is exceeding projections. The effect hit the hegemony flagship first. The massive dreadnought's shields flickered as the quantum disruption began to interfere with their energy patterns. The ship's quantum communication array started to malfunction, sending chaotic signals throughout the fleet. What's happening? General Corvin demanded. Our shields are experiencing interference. The cascade effect spread like wildfire through the alien fleet's synchronized systems. Every ship in the formation was connected through quantum entanglement networks, and the disruption traveled along these connections at impossible speeds. Shield generators began to fail as their quantum fields collapsed. Communication arrays went offline as their entangled particles lost coherence. A cascade is spreading faster than predicted, James reported excitedly. The aliens' quantum networks are carrying the disruption throughout their entire fleet. It's like a domino effect on the quantum level. Admiral Zixthara's compound eyes went wide with terror as alarms began blaring throughout his ship. Impossible. Our shields are collapsing. All systems are failing. What have you done? Elena watched the tactical display as 47 massive warships began to die. The quantum cascade was tearing apart the fundamental forces that held their hulls together. Metal bulkheads were separating at the molecular level. Energy conduits were losing cohesion. Life support systems were failing. As their quantum processors became inoperative, the resonance cascade is self-sustaining now, Dr. Mitchell explained. The aliens' own quantum networks are amplifying the effect. Each ship that fails adds more energy to the cascade, making it stronger. The hegemony flagship was the first to go. Its massive hull simply came apart, not in a dramatic explosion, but in a slow, inexorable dissolution. The ship's matter lost cohesion and scattered into space like dust. Admiral Zixthara's terrified face vanished from the screen as his vessel ceased to exist. One by one, the other ships in the fleet began to suffer the same fate. The mighty Vorthan battlecruisers, with their legendary armor and weapons, dissolved into clouds of component atoms. The crystalline collective destroyers, built from the hardest materials in the galaxy, shattered into glittering fragments that caught the light of distant stars. General Corvin's voice came through the failing communication system one last time. This is impossible. No weapon can do this. What are you humans? Elena keyed her microphone. We're the species you underestimated, General. We're the ones who refuse to accept that something can't be done. While you were building bigger guns and thicker armor, we were learning to rewrite the rules of physics. The last of the alien ships disintegrated 47 seconds after the quantum resonance cannon had fired. In less than a minute, the largest military fleet in galactic history had been completely annihilated by a single shot from a human frigate. The space around the Prometheus was filled with expanding clouds of debris and scattered atoms. Dr. Mitchell shut down the quantum resonance cannon, his hands shaking with exhaustion and adrenaline. Weapon discharge complete. All enemy vessels have been neutralized. The cascade effect is dissipating normally. Sarah stared at her tactical display in amazement. Captain, I'm reading no intact enemy vessels. The entire fleet has been destroyed. How is this possible? Elena walked to the center of the bridge, looking out at the debris field that had once been humanity's greatest threat. It's possible because we refused to accept limitations. The aliens thought they knew everything about warfare, but they were fighting by rules that no longer applied. Marcus began bringing the ship's systems back online. Captain, all departments are reporting normal status. The quantum resonance cannon performed exactly as designed. We're ready to resume normal operations. Elena nodded, but her expression was thoughtful. The immediate threat was over, but the implications of what they had just accomplished were staggering. Word of this battle would spread throughout the galaxy, changing humanity's status from ignored primitive to respected power. Communications, transmit a message on all frequencies, Elena ordered. This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the United Earthship Prometheus. The alien fleet that threatened to destroy humanity has been eliminated. Let this be a lesson to any species that thinks humans are weak or primitive. We may be small, but we are not helpless. We may be young, but we are not ignorant. And we will not be intimidated by those who think might makes right. The message would reach every inhabited world in the sector within hours. The galaxy would learn that humanity had developed weapons that could destroy entire fleets with a single shot. The age of humans being dismissed as primitive was over. But Elena knew that victory came with responsibility. The quantum resonance cannon was a weapon of incredible power, and power required wisdom to use correctly. Humanity had just announced its arrival on the galactic stage in the most dramatic way possible. Now they would have to prove they deserved respect through more than just superior weapons. Set course for Earth, Elena ordered. We have a report to make, and I suspect our superiors are going to want to hear about this in person. As the Prometheus turned toward home, Elena reflected on the day's events. The aliens had come to destroy humanity because they feared human potential. In the end, they had been right to fear. But they had made the mistake of believing that potential was something to be crushed rather than respected. The galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. Asterisk,